Hey, Shalom. Falling Yeshua. Welcome again to the Rock. Oh, these major cities. These major cities. I have an article I'm going to touch on and then just talk about it a little bit and get out here and get back to work. But Pittsburgh police will no longer personally respond to calls that aren't considered in progress emergencies after recent department changes. Calls not considered in progress emergencies will be assigned by dispatch to a telephone recording unit. The city's website states, creation of an enhanced telephone reporting unit, TRU, operating from 7 to 3 a.m. daily, includes weekends. Dispatch will assign reports to the TRU for calls that do not require an in-person response by officers. TRU will not be assigned to any in-progress call where a suspect may be on scene, any crime where a person may need medical aid, any domestic violence disputes, calls with evidence, or where the mobile crime unit will be requested to process a scene. Meaning, basically, if it's, theft or stuff like that, and, it sounds like they're just not going to be reporting to these calls. You call, and like what's happening in a lot of major cities, you call and they basically tell you to, come in and do a report, or they'll take a report. In addition, listen, this gets worse. Between 3 and 7 a.m., when reportedly far fewer 911 calls are made, no desk officers will be present at the 6 police stations in the city. Instead, call boxes linked to 911 have been installed. During some overnight shifts, there may be only 22 officers to cover the entire city. 22 officers to cover the whole city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's going to work. That's going to work, right? Essentially what they're telling you is, you're on your own. And it's happening more and more in major cities, which, I know it's becoming harder and harder, but for so many people, you're going to be on your own. It just seems more and more like these cities are creating what, it's been talked about before, purge-like atmospheres. So basically, you just greenlit the whole city of Pittsburgh between the hours of 3 and 7. 22 officers are patrolling the city. Think of the level of crime. Think of, hey, you go on one side of the city and do some foul shit over there, and I'm going to come to the other side of the city, and then y'all go to the other side of the city, and the cops aren't going to be able to respond to all of us. And we'll hit, every one of us is going to hit something at 3:30. They can't respond to all of us. So 4 hours, literally a night, or in the morning, are greenlit. You could have literal purge-like atmospheres. See, these major cities, you just don't want to be there. Whether it's because they don't have enough officers, which I think is what Pittsburgh's reporting. They lost a lot of officers. The pay isn't there. The policies don't work. Whatever the reason. And again, I am not this, pro-police person at all. But the reality of it is, when you do have decent officers, they all right. But for the large majority of people, they don't train, they don't know how to protect themselves, they don't have any sort of system or responses to any sort of crime in their area, in their house, on their land. They don't even know what they're going to do if they heard a bump in the night. And what this really does is, I told y'all single sisters, a lot of this is going to trickle down to you. Because when people know that they have the green light, when certain calls the cops aren't even going to respond to, if a person decides they want to jack you, brother or sister, but especially you sisters, if somebody decides they want to jack you, burglarize you, and the cops are already basically telling you, listen, we'll respond, but, we're not really in any hurry. Especially what they're saying. we're not really in any hurry. It's going to take more time for us to get to you. And if it's a crime that, you know, has happened and maybe you come home and your house is broken into, well, we're going to have you come and leave a report, you know. We'll take a report, you know. Violent crimes in a shootout. Wouldn't be surprising if we shot between those hours. And more people are going to be on their own, as it's already been going that way. And I'm surprised, you know. I was reading some of the comments, and some of the commenters were literally surprised, and I was just kind of flabbergasted, like, this stuff has been taking place and slowly going in that direction for years now. And the idea that so many people didn't, you know, protect themselves or didn't consider it. Some people were like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go buy a firearm now. I'm like, it took you this long to finally decide. I mean, I'm happy they are, but it took this long. For some reason, it takes people so, despite the evidence, despite the fact that you can see where something is going. You know, you can watch the water. Let's just say you're watching a stream. You know which way the stream is going, but you're going to be surprised when the stream, even though it has been going in that direction for a while, you're surprised when it goes that way. It is unbelievable what we are seeing today. It is unbelievable that people actually find themselves surprised. The Bible says the prudent man foreseeth the evil. It says it twice in Proverbs. The prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. The foolish one passes on and is punished. Punished. You ignore the signs. You ignore people trying to help you. You ignore the words. You ignore all the wise counsel. And you just go and do your own thing anyways. And then when you're done doing it and the stuff ends up happening, you looked surprised. I don't do these videos for myself. I do these videos because hopefully somebody is pricked. Somebody they hear it and they say, wow, okay, I've got to make some moves. If you do not have a firearm and you can legally own one, it might be a good idea to not just get one, but get some training. Hey, hush! Might be a good idea to get some training, get some good training. Learn your laws in your area. You know, what kind of laws they have as far as being able to protect your house, and yourself. And if you're in a state where you can't protect yourself, well, you may have to relocate. Because as these major cities and as these major cities, you know, continue to cut back medical services, continue to cut back, you know, many of your protection. I'm just being real. For most people, their protection is the police. And the police are telling you, we're not going to be there. We'll be there and we'll get there when we get there. So what about the time in between the time they get there and the time the crime starts? What are you going to do? This is not just happening, and once again, it's not just happening in Pittsburgh. This is happening in many, many, many areas, surprisingly, or not surprisingly. Hopefully you're taking heed. Hopefully you're making moves. Hopefully you're getting yourself to a position where you literally don't have to spend too much time out of your house. And I know people say, well, I don't want to live in fear. And I agree. Don't live in fear, but don't live being stupid either. I don't have to say, you know, y'all didn't give me the spirit of fear, so if I want to hop in this lion cage, I'm going to hop in the lion cage anyways, because I don't have the spirit of fear. And y'all, and the lions, they're not going to maul me. No, I'm probably not going to jump in the lion cage. Equally, when you're seeing these things take place in these cities, it is so foolish to say, I don't have the spirit of fear. Because if you heard a tornado was coming your direction, or if you heard a hurricane was coming your direction, do you sit there and say, I don't have the spirit of fear? Or do you, hopefully you have your bags and food and things stored up that you can hop in your vehicle and get the hell out of there? You don't say, I don't have the spirit of fear. Anyways, just a little bit of interesting things that are continuing to take place. Hopefully this wakes somebody up. Bless y'all. Shalom.